I'm joined by Dr. Peter Boghossian. He's a full-time faculty member in Portland State University's philosophy department. He's also author of the best-selling book, A Manual for Creating Atheists. First question, just to kind of give us a little bit of context, Dr. Boghossian, is did you grow up religious?
No, I didn't grow up religious. My dad used to bring me to the Armenian Apostolic Church, but it was just, he liked to sing in the choir, and I liked to run around. I never took it really seriously. My mother had grown up Catholic, and then my father was Greek Orthodox, and he converted to Catholicism for my grandmother.
So what was your first kind of line of thinking along religion? Was it the type of thing where your first influence was from parents? Did you immediately take to the first ideas you were presented with, or did you resist them?
No, none of those. It all seemed rather silly to me. So I was never really a believer in any sense.
Understood. So when you talk to people who are believers, do you find that your conversations tend to go, and in your book you talk about whether it's the bank teller or people you meet in the street, whoever it is, you like to engage them about their religiosity. Do you find that your conversations with believers, whatever their religious persuasion may be, go more along the lines of discussing whether their specific religion and the teachings of their religion are literally provable or true, or are the conversations broader when it comes to religion than their specific teachings?
I actually almost never talk about religion or specific propositions in the faith tradition, and I always, 100% of the time, talk about how people know what it is that they claim to know. So the first thing I do is I try to figure out what people think that they know, what they're claiming, what their knowledge claims are. And then I try to figure out, by asking questions correctly, how they think they know what they know.
Okay, so then what we're really talking about here is, as you talked about, the Socratic method of questioning, and we can probably also talk about the basic fundamentals of epistemology, including Aristotle and René Descartes. So when you engage people along these lines, do you find most believers will engage with you along the terms that you've kind of set? Or do you come up against a brick wall of sorts where you get to a point where they say, well, I don't need to follow your rationale because I know that my God is God, and therefore I can circumvent the entire line of reasoning you're trying to impose on me, as it may be?
You know, I wish we knew each other in real life, because the answer that I'm going to give you, you probably won't believe, but it's totally sincere. I almost never get that. I almost never get that because the overwhelming majority of people with whom I speak are sincere. I mean, of course, not everybody, but they're sincere, and they think either that they have good reasons for believing what they believe, or if we can suss that out right in the beginning of the conversation, that they're pretending to know things they don't know. And almost never do you, I mean, certainly you get someone who says, well, it's my faith, I'm just going to believe it no matter what. I mean, there's no question about that. And so in Manual for Creating Atheists, I talk about how to bring civility into discourses when, if you know somebody who has faith or uses faith in the world or places trust in Jesus or Zeus or what have you, that these really are conversations that you can have without people freaking out or being upset at each other or screaming at each other. And just parenthetically, just as an aside, the question and answers from my talks are posted online. I gave a talk at Abbotsford, Canada, and you can see how simple those questioning is. But no, when you listen to that, this directly answers your question. You don't find very much of that.
So I like this idea of being able to discuss these things in a civil way, because some people I talk to about whether it's religion or politics or anything, it really doesn't matter. I'm able to have what clearly is a civil conversation, regardless of whether we agree or disagree. At the same time, and it seems to happen a lot with more religious individuals that I interview on the show, me merely questioning whether the story they believe, as whether it's the story of creation or as what God has done specifically or not done, me questioning that in any way is immediately offensive. And I've worked relatively hard over a period of many years to find a way to ask questions that really make someone defend their beliefs, which I think they should have to, without being offensive to them. And some would say, well, listen, David, when the guest tells you they're offended by you saying you don't believe Jesus was really born to a virgin, died, and came back to life, when they say they're offended by that, it's a cover, right? It's because they can't really back it up with actual fact. While the believers will say it's deeply offensive because they sincerely hold these beliefs. I honestly don't know how to get around that. How can you have a conversation where you question these beliefs without being offensive to individuals who consider themselves very devout?
Their offense should mean nothing to you. So if somebody says that they're offended by something, and that happens occasionally, but in chapter 4 of my book, excuse me, there are ways to ask questions and set the tone of the conversation. In fact, this is one of the primary research areas I have, is how to ask those questions so that people don't become defensive and they're more likely to have discussions with you. One of the reasons that they become offended is because they don't have enough evidence for what they believe. Like if I said, hey, like we did before the show, we were trying to set up the audio equipment. If I said, hey, how do we go to Skype? And I'm on Mac. And he said, what computer are you on? I said, I'm on a Mac. He said, how do you know you're on a Mac? Well, I'm looking at it right now. It says MacBook Pro. There's no reason for you to be upset with that. People become upset because there's a differential. There's a difference between, when someone says they have faith in something, it's a word that means I do not have sufficient evidence to warrant belief in something.
Is part of this using a method of questioning and asking questions rather than telling someone?
That's part of it, and part of it is sincerity. You have to always be sincere when you ask questions, and you have to ask questions because you want to know the answer. And coupled with that, you have to, and this is the thing that takes a lot of work, it's an attitudinal disposition on the part of the questioner. So you have to go into these conversations genuinely thinking, and only if you genuinely think it, but like, okay, I'm going to give this person the benefit of the doubt. Why is it in academic speak it's called hermeneutic of charity? I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Why does someone believe this? Maybe they know something I don't know. So what you're trying to do is to not question their conclusions, but to figure out, and in the book I give a template and ways specifically and exactly how you do this, how to figure out what it is they claim to know, if it's legitimate, and if it can be said to warrant belief in the conclusions one holds. Now, it could very well be that that's the case, that they know something you don't know, in which case you have to thank people.
The last thing I want to touch on in the limited time we have is this idea of sometimes I will talk to atheists and agnostics, and they are very proactive in their belief that there is no God and there could be no God. Whether others, more like me, say, I'm not against the idea of a God in principle, I just haven't found any evidence so far that makes me believe one exists. Where do you find yourself to be on that spectrum?
And then I have one more thing to just comment about the last question you asked me. I find myself, as I define atheist in the book, I define it like you. I guess if we had longer time, we would flesh those terms out. But I do not think that there's sufficient evidence to warrant belief, either in a supernatural realm or in a God. However, if I were given sufficient evidence to warrant belief, then I would believe.
As Dr. Peter Boghossian mentioned, the book is a manual for creating atheists. He is a full-time faculty member in Portland State University's philosophy department. Really great to have you on. I encourage everybody to check out the book.
Thanks, Dave. I appreciate your time.